So can the now make me rich, powerful, free, happy, smarter, more loving, more loved?
Yes, all of those things.
Rich?
Yes. Let's start with rich, and then we'll look at the next one. Can the now make me rich? Yes. Now what does it mean to be rich? Rich means it's not what people think it is. It's not to have lots of possessions. That may be one aspect of being rich. But rich means to be in touch with the fullness of life. And the only place where you can find the fullness of life, the intense aliveness that you sense when you are present to now, is here. When you are open to the present moment, what comes in is a gratitude for what is, no matter what. It's a little plant, the air you're breathing, the light that's coming through the window, the sound of a bird, whatever is, there's a goodness to it. And even if it looks bad, even if it's a dead animal or a dead human, when you are totally aligned with the present moment, there's a peace that comes into your perceptions. And with that peace comes a gratitude that is very deep. And so you're experiencing really life for the first time when you become present. And so to be in a state of gratitude for what is really what being wealthy means. The present moment is always enough. And so the definition of wealthy really is to have enough, to feel already the fullness of life, an expression that Jesus used. He said, I want you to have the fullness of life. And people didn't quite understand what he meant. Was Jesus talking about shopping malls? That you have 500 shops in one huge shopping mall and you have thousands of things to choose from? Was he predicting the arrival of shopping malls? Is that the fullness of life? You can walk around and buy, and you have lots of money and credit cards, and you can buy anything you like. Now, there are people who can do that. They are not happy. So then he's not talking about the many things when he talks about the fullness of life. It's not. He's talking about the one thing. It's to feel the intensity of being alive. And you can only feel that intensity of aliveness when you're in the present moment with your attention. One way of being in the present moment, as you know, is to feel the inner aliveness of the body, to feel the aliveness that is in every cell of the body. Ah, it's alive. And the more you go there, the stronger that feeling becomes. And once you are connected with that, you feel that the world around you is intensely alive too. It was alive before, but you didn't see it because there was too much thought stuff going through your mind continuously. The world became dead because everything was immediately labeled mentally. That's a tree, that's a dog. The moment you label it and you don't look anymore, it's not alive anymore. Everything gets deadened through mental abstraction when you go around. The voice in your head immediately calling things names, giving things names. So when you become more present, there's this alert attention with which you meet your surroundings. Once you know the fullness of life that is already here now, and then gratitude arises for what is, no matter what it is, then living in this way, eventually that fullness that in essence is an inner realization rather than outer, that's the foundation for wealth, is to feel the fullness of life within. And then if you live in that way, in connectedness with that, eventually the fullness of life will also manifest for you externally in various ways. Meaningful activity is a form of wealth. To know that what you're doing is helping other human beings, brings an external fullness also into your life, which is a form of wealth. And wealth may also come in the form of things coming to you, more conventional things, home or car or whatever it may be. Those things also come much more easily when basically you already feel the fullness even long before it comes externally. So basically you feel already wealthy when you live fully in the present moment. You never feel really poor. I perhaps spent 10 years of my life at least living what people would say below the poverty line. And I never felt poor. I always felt rich, although for a long time I had nothing, no external possessions. But life was so fulfilling to live every moment, fully present to the moment, that I felt wealthy, abundant. And much, much later did actually external abundance come into my life to some extent. And that didn't make me feel better. I feel just when now I have a car. During those years I used a bicycle mostly, or the bus. And I don't feel better now because I have a nice car. I feel exactly the same, but just it's nice to have a nice, comfortable car with air conditioning in the summer, and so. But it makes the fullness hasn't changed. It hasn't done anything to change that. So, the foundation is to be fully alive in the present moment. And then it is much more likely that external wealth will also come to you as an outer manifestation of an inner reality. If you feel wealthy already, but if you feel poor and feel that you need to make money now, even if you achieve it, you'll be unhappy with your wealth, because it comes out of the unhappiness. So there are many people who are creating wealth these days. They build up a big business on enterprise, but it comes out of a deep dissatisfaction with what is. It comes out of an enormous neediness to show to the world that you are somebody, or to prove to yourself or the world how good you are. And that is not conducive to true happiness. There are many wealthy people who are unhappy in their wealth. And they're not really wealthy. And they are basically still deprived. They are deprived of the fullness of life. And they have perhaps 5 or 10 houses in different places, cars, yacht, and yet they're deprived of the fullness. And so they need more and more. And it doesn't help. So here we have living in the present moment, brings you into the fullness of life now, and then eventually it will also manifest in different ways externally for you.